My experience working on Inalab's debut EP as co-producer, mixing, mastering engineer. It was really one of the most liberating and fun experiences I've had as a sound balance engineer for a really long time. And one of the reasons for that is just the freedom that I was given when it came to like experimenting with things, absolutely mangling sounds. For example, if you listen to the song The Commons, there's a drum solo in there. And one of the things that I did with that drum solo was run a parallel send where I basically just glitched the absolute daylights out of the drums and some really crazy like pitch shifted wacky delays and things like that. And it's normally such a touchy topic, because in my experience, artists that work largely with live instrumentation tend to be a little picky or finicky when it comes to, experimenting way too much or like having very obviously like electronic influences associated with their music. So this was one thing that I just loved to do, and I think the guys were very receptive to it, and it was great. I had a lot of fun doing that.
So when we were working on this EP, and I really didn't think that there would be much work needed because we'd done pretty much everything all together. But Keshav, being Keshav, will invest his creative energies into things that probably where your mind stops working, and what he's done with the drum solo and Commons is just such a classic example of that.
Keshav did a fantastic job with that, obviously, and really brought out the energy of what I wanted out of that part.
Another thing that I found really cool was just the way I was allowed to treat the vocals, because vocals is something that most pop artists, although this isn't exactly like what one would call pop in the traditional sense, it's very experimental, but it is also pop because the melodies are very pop. And one of the things that I love to do was just distort, just add all sorts of like crazy distortion, mangling, time-based effects to the vocals, and that's something that I just really love to do. It's playing with sound. Ultimately, one of the reasons why I really got into the sound side of things, in addition to just like the songwriting, was because I love the idea of experimenting with all these sonic possibilities. And that's just more testament to the fact that, Gaurav and Suyash and the guys were just so receptive to all these whacked out ideas, and, allowing, their baby to be like a guinea pig for my bizarre mental gymnastics, if you will.
Keshav Dhar being the Keshav Dhar, what kind of a mix. We couldn't have imagined a better mix and master for this whole EP. And I remember when the whole EP came out, I was just shocked. I was just like, man, this sounds massive. And thanks to Keshav for making it so good, like making it sound so good, making my voice, like treating my voice like no one else. So.
Another thing that I found really cool was the way the instruments ended up being balanced with each other. It was very unconventional in the sense that like the drums were sitting a little lower than usual or a little further back, which I found interesting. Because usually one expects that sense of like really driving power, and I feel like that's what a lot of people have come to expect from me, like really loud pounding drums. You can't mask things with just like outright power, you really have to like listen for texture and get all of that right. You can't just compensate with volume, and I found that really cool as well, the way the music all sort of sits together in a very unconventional but still very rewarding way.
He has been so instrumental in shaping the sound of the setup that it's unimaginable without him. And on this record there was a bit of a difficulty because he's moved to Bombay now, but luckily it being the season time and there was already travel being planned towards going to Bombay, so I was able to make a few trips down there to sit and work with him. The overall production of the EP wouldn't have been possible if he had not had a co-producer and a mixing engineer like Keshav, so I'm so glad to be working with a guy like him.
Thank you, Inalab, for trusting me with your baby, and thanks to all of you who have been listening to the music, enjoying it, and see you all soon.